What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a little bit of a look at a whole evolution line, finishing with MegaGargomon. And once again, like the reveals for EX2 have been ridiculously fast. Faster and more frantic than any set we've ever seen in the Digimon TCG, and I've been covering the reveals of every set since the game launched, so I can say that with a fair degree of certainty. But what that means is that unlike normally, and we can't do this all the time, not even with this set, but what we can do, we did it with Sakuyamon the other day and we can do it with MegaGargomon now, is we can actually look at the entire evolution line, start to finish, in one video, and see the whole story. And that makes me very happy indeed. So, what have we got? Well, starting off, we've got Gummymon, a Digitama. Obviously, it's a Digitama, so we have one inheritable skill. On your turn, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, draw a card. I adore this. This has just become one of my very, very, very favourite Digitama in the game. Because I love green decks. I generally play green decks above others. And one of the things that green does, one of its signature moves, is suspending stuff. It's what they do. Green Digimon love to suspend. We saw it with Flower Cannon way back in BT1, and we've seen it with a billion things since. And there really is no reason to go through all of them. We'd be here all day and it would get kind of repetitive. My point is, there are an awful lot of green things out there that suspend your opponent's Digimon, and now every Digimon you've got that has Digivolved from Gummymon is now going to draw you a card the first time you suspend a Digimon during your turn. This is redonk, and it won't work in every green deck because not every green deck loves suspending. But in green decks that do, and let's be clear, there are a lot of green decks that do, this is going to be an absolute staple and a phenomenal Digitama. I like it very much indeed. Now, I'm fairly sure we have actually talked about Terriermon before, but, you know, we're going through the whole evolution line. Let's mention it briefly here. Now, 3 cost to play normally, 0 cost to Digivolve, 1000 power. Pretty standard for a weak level 3. One that's going to have a good skill, but not be staying around on the board for very long. And we do have a good skill. A static skill, on your turn, once per turn, when you play a green Tamer, gain 1 memory. And what you could do here, it'd be a little bit risky, admittedly, but what you could do here is just leave this in play. Heck, leave 4 of them in play. And if you leave 4 of these in play, and yes, I am fully aware that that's a lot, but if you leave 4 of these in play, you play a Tamer, gain 4 memory. I cannot be the only person that thinks that's phenomenal. It turned, and bearing in mind, we've never seen a Tamer that costs more than 4 memory. And more than that, this does not reduce the cost of playing a Tamer. This gains you a memory when you play a Tamer. The distinction between them, incidentally, is extremely important, because if you gain a memory, then you can play a 2-cost Tamer, gain 4 memory, and end up 2 memory better off. If you reduce the cost, you can only ever bring it down to 0. You can never actually gain memory. So, frankly, this is brilliant and awesome, and I love it, and you should too. But it's got 1000 power and it needs to be in play to use the skill. It's very risky. You've then got inheritable skill. When your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, you gain 2000 power for the turn. 2000 power is a sizable boost, and once again, green decks love to suspend. It's kind of their thing. It's what they like to do. Now, moving over into level 4s, we get ourselves a Gargomon. 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to Digivolve, 5000 power, nothing out of the ordinary. And it's got a static skill. On your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve, if you have a green Tamer in play, reduce the memory cost of the Digivolution by 1. Now, that is when you are Digivolving out of this into a level 5, not when you're Digivolving into this. So it basically means that as long as you've got a Tamer in play, whatever level 5 you choose to Digivolve into is going to be cheaper. It's good. It's not a game-breaking attack or ability, but the fact of the matter is, green love to lower Digivolution cost. this is a good way to do it. It's not necessarily a reason to play the card, although to be fair, lower evolution costs, cheaper evolution, getting more big Digimon out faster is a reason to play. We've all played cards because they're cheaper to Digivolve. It's a nice bonus, and I love it. But we've also got a lovely skill on your turn, once per turn. When one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, this Digimon gains 2,000 power for the turn. Should mention our translations here are from the lovely folks at Ensign Gaming and the lovely folks at DTCG Review. And you'll notice this is exactly the same skill as Terriermon. Literally exactly the same skill. So assuming you're using the whole evolution line, one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, and all of a sudden you're gaining 4,000 power. Now generally, we gain 1 or 2. That's how Digimon tends to work. We gain 1 or 2,000 power. Gaining 4,000 power? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. That is a huge amount of power. That is going to make you a very, very powerful Digimon. To spoil the surprise a tiny bit, by the time we get up to a level 6, we are going to be more powerful than any level 7 in the game so far. That's where we're going here. Now we need a level 5. It is Rapidmon, carrying on the same line here. And we got an 8 cost to play normally, which is slightly higher than normal, but we're going to Digivolve. We're not going to play normally, we're fine. 7,000 power free cost to Digivolve is fine, but again, if you Digivolve from Gargomon, it's actually a 2 cost to Digivolve, which is lovely. And when you're Digivolving, if you have a green Tamer in play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Now, once again, and you've seen a real theme with this line in this set, right? You need to play Tamers. To be blunt, if you're not playing Tamers, don't bother. There is no reason to play this evolution line if you're not playing Tamers. You're not getting access to all of the skills. It's not going well enough. Don't do it. If you are playing Tamers, this is great. Because not only do you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and for newer players, look, you can only attack Digimon that are suspended, so that's good. You can suspend someone and then attack them. Or you can suspend to stop them blocking, which is great. But remember, they will unsuspend at the start of your opponent's turn. Normally, wink. Yeah, there's a hint coming in. But generally speaking, it lets you attack someone you shouldn't be able to attack or stop someone blocking. That's good. But it will also activate the power boost on Gargomon and the power boost on Terriermon. And it will let you draw a card with Gummymon. It's awesome. We then have an inheritable skill on your turn once per turn. When one of your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, this Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. Now, bearing in mind, your level 3 and 4 are boosting your power. So when I say you're gaining extra security attack, and you are gaining extra security attack on a Digimon that is going to basically not be deleted by any security Digimon because it's huge. And that's amazing. It's not just that you're getting the extra security attack, although that's great. It is the fact that you're gaining the extra security attack in a situation where you're so powerful, you don't have jamming, but you as good as have jamming, because there's just not going to be a security Digimon unless your opponent is crazy boosting the power of their security Digimon. You're not going to come against one that can take you down. And that's kind of amazing. So yeah, it's all so good so far. But we're building up here to MegaGargomon. 12 cost to play normally is very high. 13,000 power is very high. 5 cost to Digivolve is very high. Do remember you've got your... And look, it's only once per game, right? Let's not go crazy. But you do have your once per game hidden potential uncovered that you can use to do this more cheaply and easily, which is rather lovely, and green have some tricks. But it is expensive to Digivolve, and that's important. But when you Digivolve, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon for each green Tamer in play. So if you've got 3 green Tamers in play, you get to suspend 3 Digimon. Those Digimon do not unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. And this is a game-winning attack. or ability. This is absolutely ridiculous and phenomenal. And this reminds me of Puppetmon. Now, I've played a bunch of Puppetmon, as I'm sure a bunch of you have. When you play it, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, but then none of your opponent's Digimon unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase. Now, this isn't exactly the same. The only ones that don't unsuspend are Digimon that you suspended with this skill. But essentially, you've got 3 Tamers down, you take their 3 most important Digimon, you suspend them all, they don't unsuspend. It basically buys you a turn, and that can be enough to win the game. It is a phenomenal skill. It is just great. And of course, you're then suspending a Digimon, so you should have security attack +1 from Rapidmon, and you should go up to 17,000 power because of Gargomon and Terriermon, and then you should draw a card because of Gummymon, and this is all building up into just like a ridiculous skill. If you go up this whole evolution line, as soon as you Digivolve into MegaGargomon, it's nuts. You become a hyper-powerful Digimon with security attack +1. You suspend a bunch of your opponent's Digimon that then won't unsuspend during their unsuspend phase, and you even get to draw a card. It is absolutely ridiculous. But there's another skill as well. When you are attacking once per turn, you get to return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with less power than this Digimon to its owner's hand. But as I keep telling you, you're going to have 17,000 power. You're going to have a ridiculous amount of power. So, when we say with less power than this, that is not entirely, because your opponent could have used a bunch of skills to boost one of their Digimon to 18 or above, but it's largely a redundant phrase. You should be able to get rid of any Digimon you like off the field, because this Digimon is so powerful. And frankly, I absolutely adore this. This is brilliant and wonderful and lovely. So not only are you suspending a bunch of your opponent's Digimon and making sure they don't unsuspend, as well as drawing a card, being powerful, having security attack +1, etc., but you then should be able to return any of your opponent's Digimon to your owner's hand. Because remember, as long as you've got at least one Tamer in play, you pick your opponent's best Digimon, you suspend them, and then you attack, and then you return it to their hand, and it all just works absolutely perfectly. Now, we do keep talking about Tamers here. We do have a Tamer to use. It's Henry Wong. Now, for cost to play Tamer, it's as high as we get. Do remember, like I say, if you've got 4 Terriermon in play, you can literally play this for free. Now, Terriermon's super weak. You might not want to keep 4 Terriermon in play. That is absolutely fair. But I'm telling you that if you want to, you can. Simple as that. You've then got that skill that, honestly, like, a lot at this stage, a lot of Digimon have, Tamers, whereby at the beginning of your turn, if you don't have free memory, you set it to free memory, which is nice. It stops your opponent doing that super annoying thing where they leave you with 1 memory to start your turn, which, let's face it, we all try and do. But then we've got the special skill, the reason we might play it if we're going to play it. On your turn, when your Digimon with Gargomon or Rapidmon in its name attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And basically, I mean, come on, this is going to almost always fire. Not guaranteed, but as soon as you get past Terriermon, they've all got Gargomon or Rapidmon in their name. Again, when I say all of them, I mean all of them in this line. So yeah, that sounds alright by me. And you have to suspend this Tamer, but really all that actually does is stop you using this skill over and over again, and you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And like we talked about earlier in the video, if I suspend my opponent's Digimon, I can attack them when I shouldn't normally be able to do so. When I suspend my opponent's Digimon, they can't block, when they would usually be able to do so. And I've got a million skills which allow me to take advantage of suspending my opponent's Digimon, drawing cards and blah blah blah. It's great. It is brilliant and awesome and great. And frankly, it all adds up to a really nice evolution line. Putting it all together, we're drawing cards, we're ending up with a super powerful Digimon, we got security attack +1, we are suspending our opponent's Digimon, we are stopping them unsuspending, and we're sometimes even just getting rid of our opponent's Digimon entirely, right back to their hand. There is a lot to like here. But I want to know what you think. I want to know how excited you are by this. I want to know if this is the kind of thing you're going to play. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.